Hello friends, Lee here from TableTop Vase. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I thought we could hang out and I'm going to tell you about a little challenge I gave myself and I'm going to fulfill it here in this video. Here's the challenge. We're going to just jump right in today, okay? The challenge was simply this. If I could spend some time thinking about how to get the hardest hitting 3 volcano balloons possible to have back to back for the most medicated sesh I could possibly come up with on 3 balloons through the OG volcano. What would I do? How would I do it? Let's take a look at what's possible here. And I'll tell you what, this seems like a pretty simple challenge, right? Turn it up, get the highest THC dry herb you can get, throw it in there, and there you go. No, man, I took this way further than that. My brain works in ways that I like to really take things down to these super small details and rebuild them. It's fun. And this is a great way for me to do research and development with different products. It's amazing when you come at something from extreme circumstances, what ends up being born out of those ideas. And I'm going to actually show you something today that is on the cusp of being born. It's not quite there yet, but this actual challenge brought something to the surface that eventually I'm going to build out into something very cool, and you're going to get a glimpse at it today. What is it? That's right, we're going to call it the Monster Hose. Okay, so I'll show you that in just a second. So here was the goal. 3 balloons, back to back, hit as hard as possible. Just do it. That was the way I looked at it. So I decided with the OG Volcano, I'm going to turn it up to 7, which is around 200 degrees Celsius or roughly 400 Fahrenheit. Why that particular temperature? Because it's still palatable. I can take in 3 balloons very, very quickly because I decided, the faster you can get a balloon in, the deeper you're breathing it into your lungs, the harder it's going to hit. So this timing is a big part of it. So I want palatable while still getting as hard hitting a vapor as possible. So for me personally, around that temperature is exactly the right move. But I go beyond that a little bit and I put once I load up here, I'll just show you exactly what I'm doing. It's probably a little easier than explaining it. So first I put the chamber reducer in. This allows me to drop in about 0.25 of a gram into the center of the chamber reducer. Look at all this extra heat that gets held all around the dry herb. So, that really does thicken up the vapor. It adds a layer of conduction along with the convection. So then I do that, and then I take this single 6mm glass terp pearl, and I actually drop it in on top of the dry herb once it's fully loaded up. And I do that because then it absorbs heat at the center of the bowl, so you have the entire chamber surrounded by metal and holding heat, and then you put a terp pearl in the middle and it holds heat in the center, so you get a more complete extraction. It just changes it slightly, but in a way that it hits a tiny bit harder. So I've learned all of these different things along the way that when I stack them up together, it really created an unbelievable circumstance of how hard a balloon could hit. Now, I will tell you guys, I've done 2 balloons back to back. I haven't actually done 3. I was waiting to be on camera to do the 3rd balloon. I can tell you after 2, I was like, I don't even know if I can have a 3rd one and then speak. Because I definitely dialed this in with a few more components we're going to talk about real quick, and then we're going to rip these balloons. So the next thing I did is I considered not just the chamber and the volcano itself, but the dry herb that's going to go into it. So I grabbed some, it's called Emergency from Broken Coast. It comes in at 35% THC with 3% terpenes. Okay, so that's a pretty high level. So then what I did is I did a double decarb on that dry herb so that I could fully and completely activate it to its maximum. And then, I added terpenes on top of it, bringing up to, I'm going to guess, and I'm totally guessing, but based on other things I've had, based on the flavor of how this works, I'm going to say somewhere between 15 and 17% terpenes is what I'm embellishing this up to. By adding more, and I added terpenes to the dry herb that weren't currently in the strain, so it's added a very full terpene profile, very high level, very complex flavor, and it hits like unreal. Especially, I mean, 35% THC fully activated. So then you throw in those terps and it's absolutely nuts. So then I had to look at the delivery system. Am I going to use a bong? Am I going to go direct inhale? That was the other thing. So I looked at the size of the hole in the mouthpiece, okay, that goes in the balloon. And it's actually smaller than a Dynavap water pipe adapter. So I'm using this Dynavap water pipe adapter as a bong adapter for the balloon. This allows me higher levels of airflow using this than using the actual mouthpiece. I'm breathing it in directly. So why do I want to do this? I want to get it in as fast and as deep into my lungs as possible, because that's how I'm going to get the hardest hit. This is my stoner math. Might be right, might not be, but based on my experience, it seems to be right. So then I looked at the delivery system and I thought, okay, I need no restriction in the stem and I need to remove any restriction from the hose. What am I going to do? So I'm working on a prototype stem. It's not quite ready yet, but it's ready enough at least at this point to use. And basically it has 6 cuts that, well, here, I'll just bring it in closer and show it to you. And I can diffuse this stem. I'm not sure if we can pick that up or not, but we got some cuts in there. They're nice. They're relatively wide cuts, so I can move a ton of vapor through it without any restriction at all. Then I looked at the hose and I thought, you know what, the hose, this is great for cooling, diffusing, overall general use. These hoses are amazing. It really does a great job and helps in the delivery system, hands down. But I wanted a higher airflow system. So I thought about that and I thought, well, I need a monster hose. So I went ahead and I built one. I created what I'm going to call eventually the monster hose. Look at this thing. Look at this. This thing is massive. Okay, this is an 18 millimeter connection. So it just goes into the bong just like this, and watch this level of airflow. It's just insanity. I just have to be careful it doesn't kink. This is not a perfect system. I don't have it down to a point where I would say, it's going to become a product quite yet. But this is the thing with doing this kind of stuff, guys. This is where product ideas sometimes become born, right? So let's go ahead now and let's put all of these elements into place, and I'm going to rip 3 balloons back to back. This won't take very long. I did another video actually where I did a 3 balloon race challenge, and I think it was 3 minutes and 40 some odd seconds to get 3 full balloons in. I think actually with this monster hose system I could probably do it faster than that, but I'm not going to race through the loading up here. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to load this up perfectly. Get my terp pearl in there. Okay, guys. Oh, that's a bummer. All right, look, I have another terp pearl right here. You saw the idea though. Just drop it right in the middle. Put the top on. Now, when you want the hardest hitting balloon, you always start it. Watch for the vapor before you add the balloon. Now it's full vapor. Now I'm gonna add the balloon. This is gonna be great. I'm so excited about this. This monster hose, it's just unbelievable how fast I can move vapor through. You're going to see how quick I can get a balloon in. I'm going to imagine it's going to be maybe 3 inhales. I should be able to get through the whole balloon. If you do a balloon in 3 inhales and it's, this level of strength of weed, oh, look out, we're gonna see what happens, aren't we? All right, I'm gonna drop it on and start ripping on it. Cheers. Yep, about 3. About 3 does it. Oh yeah, I guess I should empty this, shouldn't I? All right, let's load it back up and go right back in and have another one. This is the thing, 3 back to back, right? That's what we're saying. Oh, it's crazy how hard one hits. It's just crazy. Everything's hot, so this vapor is going to keep getting thicker in the next two balloons, right? This one will be thicker than the first one, and the third one will be thicker than the second one. So it's kind of like a compounding effect as we go through this. This is crazy, right? Do you guys ever do this kind of stuff? Do you ever just sit and look at your gear and create challenges and stuff for yourself? Like, I feel like a grown-up playing with toys, right? Like, how much fun is this? And what is it you get out of it in the end? You get blasted. Like, you sit and play and have a good time, and you get rewarded with total shoulder drop and good times. What a great time to be alive. Cheers. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh no, no, no. What is gonna happen next? Uh-oh. I'm not too worried about getting it in. You know what I'm worried about? I'm worried about talking afterwards. Seeing if I can't keep this between the lines to conclude this video after another one of these balloons. This is... It's crazy. Crazy how hard it hits. So when people say, you know, which vaporizer hits the hardest? I'm gonna say it all depends on how you set it up. That means a whole lot more. I mean, I think the vaporizers, a lot of them today, have capability far beyond what the dry herb is capable of giving you. Right? So you look at something like even the OG Volcano here. I mean, this thing's been around forever, and it's still... I mean, I've come up with new ways to, you know, activate the weed in ways that hits harder than we're used to, and this thing is still able to keep up and go beyond, you know, what I need it to do. So it makes me wonder, what's the limit with these things? Maybe we don't know yet because we haven't hit the limit with the dry herb. All right. Oh, balloon 3. Cheers. Well, that's it. All 3 balloons, back to back, as hard hitting as I could dream up with the Volcano. Classic. Running through tabletop bong with the monster hose. Whoa. Baby, that's a good time. All right, my friends. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, take care.